Hey y'all, it's Monday morning, March 7th, and we welcome you to this week's edition of This Week at AMG. It is always a joy to be able to share with you some of the things that the Lord is doing around the world as we partner together to serve Him. And one of the most exciting things that take place around AMG is the ministry to children around Christmas time. We have the Bundles of Love program, which is a package that goes to all the little boys and girls under our care, and also all the national workers and leprosy sufferers. And we give thousands of them around Christmas time. It is a great opportunity to share God's love in a very tangible way because it has much needed items. Today we are going to hear from Ryan Robertson, youth pastor at Rehoboth Baptist Church here in the Chattanooga area, and he and a group of other individuals had the opportunity to travel to Guatemala this past December to share the Bundles of Love experience with the children under our care. He's going to tell us about his experience with this Missions Adventures team that traveled to Guatemala and how it impacted them and the children there. So let's hear from Ryan.
Thank you. My name is Ryan Robertson. I'm the youth pastor at Rehoboth Baptist Church in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. And just wanted to share with you a little bit about our trip that we took to Guatemala to serve with the Bundles of Love with AMG. It was the winter of the Christmas time of 2015, and we were able to take a group of about 17 to serve in the schools. Had about 7 schools we served in over in Guatemala. Now this trip all came about, Don Pickrell had this vision of being able to take a team for our church. And I've been praying about it for a couple of years and felt like God was really wanting me to go on this trip, but in a little bit of different capacity than most people go. You see, I've been a youth pastor there for many years and saw a lot of students come up through my youth ministry who had never been able to get out of the country. You know, their parents didn't feel like it was safe. The parents were a little nervous about it. It was money issues. But God really brought this all together all at the same time. And they were able to come and say, Ryan, I really want to go on this trip. And as long as you're going, my parents are going to let me. And I said, absolutely, I'll definitely go because I want to be there to support you, to see what God's going to do through you. So we were able to take about 5 kids who had been in our youth group, still in our youth group, had graduated from our youth group, to Guatemala. And I got to see some wonderful, wonderful things God was doing in their life. You know, they were able to plug in with the kids so quickly and understand that what AMG is doing on the just a couple of countries away is so needed. They saw the needs in these countries. They saw the need for education. They saw the need for love and encouragement and the love for instilling the gospel into these children. And they were so excited about this, they called back every night and said, Mom, Dad, we've got to sponsor a child. We have got to sponsor someone. We need to make a difference in one of these kids' lives because these kids are just like me and they just don't have the blessings that we do. And that really, really touched my heart to see these kids really wanting to make a difference, like AMG makes a difference, in all of these schools and all these kids' lives for many, many, many years. Now, while we were over there were a couple of stories that really touched my heart, but one of the biggest ones was in a little school called Philadelphia. And in this school, we arrived there and all the students came to get their Christmas presents and they put on this wonderful, wonderful Christmas show. Matter of fact, they turned one of their soccer goals into a nativity scene. And as they were telling this and seeing the smiles on these kids' faces, there were a handful of kids that kept gravitating toward us. And once the ceremony was over, we were playing soccer with them, we were playing basketball with them. They had a playground that we were playing with them, and the girls would play with the girls, the guys were playing with the guys. And all of a sudden we noticed the mother was crying, and we went over to her and asked her, you know, why are you crying? Is everything okay? And she explained something that really touched me. She said, well, my husband has a gambling problem and he has lost all of our money in gambling and we're about to lose our home. She goes, I work to support these 7 children and I have no time for them. And it really means a lot to me that you're taking time out just to play with them. And I was taken aback because I have 2 children of my own. And the most precious time I spend with them is the time we're playing, the time we're teaching, the time we're learning together. And this mother, just trying to keep her family afloat, didn't have time for her children. So I saw what a big difference AMG and the sponsorship program made in these children's lives. And let me encourage you, If nothing else, just pray and ask God, God, do you want me to go on a mission trip with AMG? The worst thing He can do is say yes, and He'll change your life forever. But if He says no, say, God, then how can I do this? How can I support the AMG ministry? And if you go on their website, you'll see there are a bunch of children that you can go and make a difference in their lives. Man, we ran into this child named Juanito. I heard stories about Juanito. He was born with his heart on the outside of his body. And when he was first came into the sponsorship program, he was near death. As a matter of fact, his blood flow was so poor that his fingers were purple. But he was brought into and adopted by a friend of mine down in Atlanta, and we were able to meet up with Juanito on this trip and saw that Juanito was in much better health and he has a bright future ahead of him. You can make a difference, and I just pray that you will pray and ask God what you can do for these children that AMG supports. Thank you.
It is wonderful to be able to participate in a short-term mission trip and to be able to interact with individuals on the field to show God's love in a special way. There are opportunities to partner with AMG, to be a part of the Missions Adventures team, whether it is in Guatemala, in Peru, or in Uganda, or some other place. If you would like to know more about how you can be a part of a short-term mission trip, or about our Bundles of Love or Child and Youth Development Ministry, please give us a call or visit our website at www.amginternational.org. We would love to share more information with you about this ministry. Well, that's it for this week, and we hope to see you next week at This Week at AMG.